Hey guys, my name is Rob Decoste with PPG FOE, and this is the Nashville Regional, the wrap-up of it, where I finished first in Swiss, and then lost in time, end of time, to an awesome player, Simon, in top 8. So this is a breakdown of the new set 21 Gohan list. And so we'll just kind of go through it. I'm going to operate on the assumption that everyone who's watching knows how the cards work. And so we'll just kind of go through some of the easier stuff and then talk about why I chose things. So Gohan leader and then Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Luckily this brings the deck down to 49, which I do play 49. Get as close to empty as I can, right? Every card matters. So we'll go through here. What do I have? So the first card here, we just run 4 of the super combo, the free 10K. This card, I mean, if I'm being honest, throughout the entire day, I don't think I ever once activated the counterplay on it. Typically, I use it to burn with the 8-drop, or I will also use it to just free combo 10Ks and to get out of pretty big swings. It is pretty good though. I did see a couple of Deku players, Gogeta players running around with those with that deck that just completely handles this because you can't KO cards. This Z charges instead of KOs, which is a really, really great counter to get around some of those cannot be KO'd cards. So it's a great fix. So 4 of those. And then we go into the boss with my mixed match rarity. This card is just absolutely bonkers. The swing, KO, take a card out of their hand. If you combo with a 10K, you crit a life, and it costs 2, it has barrier for the turn. Say no more, right? Just the card is very overpowered. It does a lot for green. And I see a lot of other green decks playing it. So we run that at 4. It's a 5K combo. So you can use it whenever, and then also you can just charge them. You have 4. You're probably playing 3 to 4 a game if it's going long. As for the time chamber, so the time chamber does the tucking effect. You can tuck the Vegeta and the Trunks cards to have a little bit more early aggression. Something I decided to go completely against in this build. I did not play the Vegeta or the Trunks package. I felt it clogged up the deck too much and gave too many dead cards in the middle of the game. I do play a more tempo to control style build, which is me as a player. I just don't play aggro that much. And so what I did was I did a 3-3 split on the Goku and the Gohan. The number one thing that take away from my victories today is that my goal is to play 2 of these as soon as possible. So typically turn 2, I'll play 1 and charge, and tuck, pick up the other one, and then on turn 3, I'll spend my time playing both of them and then playing another one to tuck for turn 4. The amount of pressure that 1 energy gives for both of these cards is pretty insane, especially with board clears and being able to swing over things, which I'll talk about. So this is a 3-3 split. There was never a moment where I didn't have it on turn 2, and I'll talk about that in a second as to why. Let's skip the counter package. Okay, so I want a turn 1 play, always. A lot of players play the Vegeta Ape, which is great, 19k critical. I like to replenish my hand. So 4 Krillin Battle Support, lets me look at the top 5. 4 Saiyan, 4 or less, that's a majority of the cards that are sitting on the table, minus the 8-drop. And then if you're lucky enough and you can swing it, you can always combo this when it's on the field, and with the Gohan and the leader swing combo to get a skillless, basically giving you an extra card. It's very rare, it's very niche, doesn't happen often. The other thing is I played 2 of the little baby Gohans here, which look top 7. There are a lot of Gokus in this deck. The 3 here, the 4 over here, the 4 over here, not to mention a bunch of other Gokus that I'm going to show in just a second. So this is always a great card, and then also it hits my SCR, which we'll show you later. So in the deck total, I think there are 9 1-drops, so I'm typically not missing a turn 1 play. These are my favorite to have because I want to be able to replenish my hand and then be able to combo them away to go into my Z battle cards. So 1-drops galore served me super well. Later in the game, they just become charge targets or combo. All right, we did 3 Kaiokens. Incredibly underwhelming. I didn't play it very often. I don't do any fancy EX evolve over a 5-drop Goku in this deck. As a matter of fact, this deck has Nothing costs more than 1 except for the SCR and the 4 Gokus. the boss monster. So I didn't do any, and nothing is a 10K except for the cards that I just have previously mentioned. So it's just a 5K. It's just to take a card out of your hand. Maybe I pressure. Every time I come up against yellow and green, I side it out because I know that they're siding in the Gohan or the Vegeta card, that when they discard, they play and draw a card. So I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of doing that. I typically side these out in green and yellow matchups. This card was a sleeper. This card is incredibly not known. Set 16, I think, is Realm of the Gods. What you do is, it's like a Raiders War Cry or any of those kinds of old cards where you combo and then you play them afterwards. So in order to play this card, you have to swing in a battle card with a battle card and then combo this card and then KO that battle card. If the combat results in a KO, you can pay 1 and play this card. And this card is a 20k double strike that on swing can either KO a card or discard a card from your opponent's hand. So it's got good utility, it's got good pressure, and a lot of times one of the better plays is to play the Goku from the Time Chamber for 24, swing at something that was previously existing on the board, a 5k, a 10k, or whatever the case is, and then combo to 29 and watch your opponent's face in horror as they realize, oh my god, he's going to get to tap his energy to awaken, and on top of it, he's going to be able to get more pressure on the board. So really good combination and synergy there, these 3 cards. Typically though, I do often side them out if I feel like there's more utility that I need. I'm not looking to do this. If it happens, and that's about it. And then the other 3 1-drops in the deck are the Grade 8 Vegeta. Super good. I rarely played it on turn 1. Actually, I rarely played it, and this is typically the first card that I side out in a match. It's good to have. It's not a bad card. When I was building the deck, I needed to get the 49 cards. So we added the Vegeta because of its power. In a slower matchup like Yellow Frieza or any of the 21s, creating them early is particularly good. So I'll spend the energy to do that sometimes. Okay. So then we go to the super combo split. Robbie's over here laughing. So I did the Gogeta Dirty Shenanigans, but two, and then the 2 Paragus. And so my teammate Robbie was talking to me last night about he does the 4 and 4, and I love it, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. My deck has 11 extra cards, and when I'm trying to kill or not be killed, the Paragus has really bailed me out in some situations where I can warp those extra cards out of my hand and dig a little deeper if I'm trying to get an answer. So, and then the other thing is, when you do run a 4-4 split, you run your entire game around. You make weird plays to recycle your super combos, and sometimes they're not optimal plays because you're busy pitching 1, picking it up, pitching 1, picking it up. But this lets me play a little bit more freely, and this gives me the dig that I need. But this is also early game support and defense. Like, you play that 1-drop from the Z deck, and this is life, right? A lot of times people aren't hitting that 1-drop, and so your super combo is active pretty early. So this worked really well. There were very few moments where I said, oh, I wish I could pick up another Gogeta. This was just, I feel like this was the right split for me. And each person is different. It really just depends on your play style. Okay, 2 Focus Breakthrough. Highly dislike this. About halfway through the tournament, I realized this card is dead in my hand. In most games, most games it's dead. I started siding it out. It was very rare that I wanted to do it. I've contemplated doing a blue-green version of this deck so I can use this for free, and in which case I would definitely mate it and then have Senzu Bean to defend myself. But overall, this deck, I felt like I just didn't need it. My opponent would play their cards and I'd say, sure, I'm just going to blow through them with all the crap that I have in the deck already. So very rarely did it come in handy. I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying that it's not useful. I didn't feel like I needed it today. 2 Cells Kamehameha, probably the MVP of the deck. I know a lot of people are not playing this card right now, but when you whip your opponent's super combos, their free 10Ks or their SCR like my round 4 opponent, it feels really good, and you can literally steal a game. And then when in the final round when I was playing against my teammate Robbie, I was going in for game. I super comboed twice with the Paragus to dig dug into one of these and double Kamehameha him to get him by 5k. So if people think that this card doesn't do it, it works magic. One Koitsukai in the main board with the second on the side worked really well, but like wasn't heavily reliant on it. One Secret Identity, super great. I think it's the best SCR right now. Sorry, SCR, excuse me. Best Overwhelm right now. There's just a lot of power in it. I'm really glad it's back. I feel bad for Tilla players because they can't play that deck anymore. And then Peace Resolution. It's a difference of opinion. There are a lot of players who think this is not the best SCR for the deck, and I respectfully think they're incorrect. This card has, its application is not about, in my opinion, its application is not about the triple strike. It's about the 40k, the restand, and the baby hatch effect that they put on your opponent the next turn. Typically when I play this card, my opponent is so far behind from the measly triple strike that I gave them from comboing out, that they don't have enough combo power to swing over my 40k leader on the next turn. And then after that, I could just play more boss monsters and swing over them. Basically, this buys me a turn for 2 energy, and it was the it was really truly the MVP of the day. I contemplated doing the Broly, the set 6 Broly with the Paragus to blow it up and blow up your opponent's hand. Too cheeky. Contemplated Cell Max, but it's too easy to get around and work around. And again, I'm not playing the aggro version of the deck. So for me as a player, a control player, this was absolutely the right card. And so that's where we're at with the main board. When we go to the side, I'll go over the Z deck real quick. Favorite card in the Z deck, the 2 Gokus. Like I said, I try and play them as much as possible. If I can get 2 of them out in succession, that's just so much extra pressure that I'm putting on my opponent for 1 energy. And I'll even use them to swing. And in the yellow matchup, it's great because I can use them to tap for riposte. Obviously, we're playing Android 16, and then the Z leader to boot. And then the rest of it, the only other card, I have 3 here, the Jiren, the Jiro, and the Frieza. The only other card I ever played was the Frieza. And it's typically on turn 5 when I have all this extra energy. I'll play like Frieza and Boss Monster and swing and then make them pitch a bunch of cards. These 2 cards never really saw play. They're there for utility, and I'm glad that they were there, but they were not really needed. Oh, and then the counterattacks. I forgot about these, sorry. We got the 4 Uneasing Awakened Rage. Card is snapped. Card's really good. Funny enough, as my memory serves, I didn't actually use the secondary a whole lot. I would pay 1 and just negate a major swing at the end of a player's turn. It just comes down to knowing what the decks do. If I feel like their turn's coming to an end, I'll just pay 1 to stop their big swing and then just recycle it in my hand. But sometimes I would use the floodgate. It just depends on the situation. And of course, 3 homicidal clones, which do great work. So that's the main board. And then the sideboard, we go over here. 2 copies of everything except for 1. I have the second Koitsukai on the side. Don't really need the Sideboard. The Vegeta was for the blue matchup, which served really well. And that's the one that says basically they can't D-Magic and untap their energy or they're going to lose life. Yamcha the Cunning for the Android 21 match. Also really good. Pretty Black Hole. This was my replacement for the Goku Kamehameha negate. A lot of this format is swing and KO on attack. And so what I would find is my opponent would play something really big and come at me while all my cards are in rest mode, particularly after like my boss monster's in rest mode. So they're thinking, let's use an example, Jared, since you're recording this. You play your Vegeta in Trunks Cheetah, and you swing, and then you get to KO something in rest mode and barrier. My response would be, play Pretty Black Hole, KO the card that you're gonna KO anyways, and then KO your board up to 8 energy, right? And the other thing about Pretty Black Hole is it does let you draw a card if you blow up one of your battle cards. So you're not losing hand advantage there, you're negating an attack, and you're helping clear their board. Is it perfect? No, but it did work out. For the green matchup, the SS Majin Vegeta Exterminator, you discard this card, you draw a card. So I sided this in against the green match, particularly in the mirror, worked out really well. Surprisingly, I didn't play against anyone who was playing Unisons, including the A21 expert deck, but this was here in case I run into a little bit more trouble with Unisons. Never came in. I'm happy that I don't have to play it. 2 Fated Rivals for the Trunks Vegeta matchup specifically. Just a lot of barrier in that matchup. Like I said, all these cards in the game are 1 energy cards and 5k combos, except for the boss and the SCR. So this I didn't want to have in the main board because I don't want to be sitting there thinking, which 2 energy cards should I play when I have 3 open? So they went to the side for certain matchups to have a little extra barrier removal, and honestly, it wasn't that effective in the grand scheme. And then the side deck winner was Shin. This card absolutely crushes in the mirror match. There's a couple times where I would be at 3 energy, I'd play it, my opponent can't play their Goku Gohan, and then the next turn I'd skip charge and play my second one. And then they just have nothing to do. And this worked against the Android 13 I played, and among other things. So Shin was a great card, a cantrip, so we love it, and it just kind of shuts your opponent down from being able to roll over you on all the big stuff that they have in their deck. So highly relevant, great sideboard card, take a look at it. And that's the list in a nutshell. So overall, I thought it was pretty great, and I want to thank my teammates for helping me test and work on all this, both in PPG and my friends at home in Arizona. And so I think we have a really great list, and I think there are a lot of really great lists out there for Gohan because it's such the leader, the package is so small that you can do a lot of different things. So hopefully people will find this intriguing and will find their own brews and what they like, and then we'll go from there. So thanks a lot.